The yet to be established timeline. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, but that's because we're still putting.
I know you're still putting evidence up. I know.
And my 403 objection isn't just prejudice; it's also confusion.
Very
to the
confusing.
jury because, and I think this is kind of
What do y'all think?
proving my point or my argument in some ways because what I'm trying to avoid is we are on the 2-yard line of getting to the end of this case. And it seems to me that there is a potential that the state is just going to try to throw a bunch of stuff out there.
I think that's what the state's been doing this whole trial.
Well, I think I'm concerned about this.
His conversation
Wild.
with Brett Rossi.
I would ask the state for the relevance of this.
Have we not established by now that Mr. Stillwell is from the Cleveland Avenue area of the city?
No, Your Honor.
We haven't?
Not Mr. Stillwell. Mr. Stillwell.
That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Well, then I guess that's relevant.
Is that the point of this?
Yeah, what frequents that area? We believe he's from Thomasville Heights.
Wait, hold on. I missed that. What did she say?
Have we not established by now that Mr. Stillwell is from the Cleveland Avenue area of the city?
No, Your Honor.
We haven't?
Not Mr. Stillwell. Mr. Stillwell.
That's amazing. Okay. All right. Well, then I guess
She said
relevant.
that's amazing.
Is that the point of this?
Yeah, what frequents that area? We believe he's from Thomasville Heights, but he definitely frequents the Cleveland Avenue or maybe he considers himself from.
So is he from there or is he frequent there?
Okay.
Jesus.
Okay, if that's the relevance, I don't have any problem.
All righty. Moving on to the next one, which is Mr. Stillwell and Funk.
I know, but okay. Can we just talk?
What's the point of this one? To show that they hang? Is there, well, I guess I should say, is there an objection?
I just don't understand the relevance. I think it's pretty.
Relevance?
Withdraw that.
All righty, they're not going to use that one. Okay.
Wow.
We've gotten through that folder. Or that subfolder. All right, go back out, and then the next thing is places.
This is crazy.
And this would be like where they grabbed his location from the phone? Or what is, okay. And so this is going to show that on 3/16 is 6:24, he's at Concourse Parkway. Is that where he picks up the
Yes.
rental car? We've already established that. I mean, we saw him there at the rental car agency, so is there an objection?
I just didn't see the relevance. It's cumulative. If
Okay.
that's the purpose of it.
Is that the only purpose?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I'm going to sustain the cumulative objection. All righty, and then we've got him.
We're not
at
surprised about that. Judge Whitaker
the day
is not
before,
feeling all this evidence
early in
at
the
all.
morning, somewhere on Lucky Street. What's,
Oh, that's the wrong one.
is there an objection?
I didn't understand the relevance.
Relevance. What's relevance?
Withdraw that.
Okay. All right, let's go back out. And
Moving
then our
on.
next subfolder is web. Web searches.
Web searches. First one. How to get away with murder. Wouldn't that be something?
And y'all, the Drinks murder is 3/14 at around 9:30 p.m., right?
10.
10, okay, somewhere, yes, you're right, okay.
So, I mean, I understand the relevance to this. You know, I'll let the court know that there was plenty of links sent to Mr. Stillwell and other people immediately after that death, inquiring if he's safe because there was news that someone was killed in the weekend.
And this is all 3 days later anyway. Okay.
And this is the same day that this appears to be the day after their home was shot up. So
Their home being
this
a
is,
lot of pronouns here.
sorry, a day after Waters Road was shot up, and then earlier in the morning before he was arrested, Your Honor. So we think that.
So the Waters Road, what time?
So Waters Road occurred at approximately 12 a.m. on March 16th.
So midnight going from the 15th to the 16th?
Yes, Your Honor.
So these are about 26 hours later.
Okay, and so these are things that he accessed over a full day later that deal with the fact that
Mr. Drink.
Drinks had been killed.
Oh, I didn't
Over
change.
3 days after.
Well,
Drinks had been killed.
right.
I gotta change this headline.
And just that he accessed
Shout out to
them.
Beautiful
We don't know
Bounce.
if it was him
Thank you.
looking them up or somebody sending him a link and
Correct,
him
Your Honor.
hitting it or whatever.
But the fact that
Okay,
searches
that
for
he,
that particular murders in his phone.
Well, we keep saying search.
that's, yeah. Are you showing that he searched for, like he sat down and typed into Google, Fox 5 Atlanta, Drinks killing?
Or that this website information is in his phone. We believe it's from a search of going.
He accessed it. You
Yes.
don't know whether he searched for it or whether somebody sent him a link and said, oh my gosh, look at what just happened.
Right. At some point, it opened up on his phone. So whether he searched it himself or someone sent it, it was accessed on his phone. Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going
That's what? I mean, he was there. And he pulled off from the stoplight. So yeah, why wouldn't he look? He's like, oh dang, I just saw him right before that. That's wild.
to object to.
How is that a crime?
403, and the reason is.
There's a big difference between, oh, I'm going to go look at this information under the state's theory that I'm the
Is there
one
a
that
big
committed
difference,
it.
though?
Let me find out what is being published about it versus somebody sends me a link, oh my gosh, and who knows whether these people even know each other, but assuming they did, so-and-so got killed. Oh, wow, let me see.
You're right, but I think there is some relevance that there are multiple links to the same shooting, especially after.
So
And
This is
what else
crazy.
is going to come into evidence, Your Honors, are going to be other posts. I believe it's Mr. Stillwell's post after Mr. McMillan, Mr. Ford is murdered, that says we're not going to be the only ones crying tonight. So the fact that after the murder of Mr. Drinks, that there are any searches or any information sent to him about the murder of Mr. Drinks is extremely relevant, given that.
3 days later,
But
if
this
it was
is-
like 2 hours later, it might be extremely relevant. But
It's
3
not
days
relevant
later,
at all.
it might be relevant because relevance is a low standard. But the argument on the other side is it's overly prejudicial.
But it's also after their home was shot up and after we believe that when police went to the house, when police responded to that location, that very soon after police responded, all of the stuff in that home was gone by the time police did a search warrant on that house on March 17th. So the fact that you are searching at 2:30 in the morning, or this information is being sent to you at 2:30 in the morning, is relevant. This is still within only
2:30 in the morning, 3 days after Drinks is killed, and over a day after the Waters Road home is shot up,
And I believe
right?
that's still information that is relevant and not substantially prejudicial,
Crazy.
overly prejudicial, because of what is happening between these two gangs for the days leading up.
Between these two gangs, except that you have yet to establish that Mr. Drinks was in a rival gang. You're saying you're going to be able to do that?
We're going to be able to show that he was at least associating with individuals. The individual Barter, who he was with the day that he was murdered, is a member of YFN. We have other pictures that are going to come out very soon, that will come out through investigative Riverisa, we believe, that show that after this murder, they did not know who he was initially on day one. However, very soon, they saw other YFN members reposting him saying, "Rest in peace." That is when they learned of his association with YFN. And again, specifically, the individual who is known as Barter is also Christian Johnson. That is the person who was in the car with him. So the state will establish that there was an association, at least with a number of YFN members, given what was posted.
All right,
in the
and
hours
you're
afterwards.
not necessarily
What?
going to be able, I don't even hear you saying you're going to be able to establish that Mr. Stillwell knew that Mr. Drinks was an associate of YFN. They're just, and it's an inference to be made. Is that right?
It is an inference
Okay.
because there's a picture that was posted on at least March 12th in which Mr. Shell Keller, Kelvin Watts, reposted a picture with Mr. Drinks, an individual by the name of Jasper Walters, who is a known YFN member, and Shell Kell, that has two shell emojis and two black zipper emojis, and we believe those emojis subliminally
You're using the word wrong again, but okay. Like a hidden message.
A hidden
which is not the same
message.
thing as subliminal, but okay.
Okay, so that we believe that those two messages were
This is
a
crazy.
message that they may have been the ones responsible for the death of McMiller and Ford. So those Instagram posts, which are relevant, we believe will come in. So to establish that it is relevant that he would be even concerned about this,
Okay.
or that then his
Accessing
phone-
a news article does not in any way indicate
Here we
you
go.
are concerned about
not
anything. You have accessed a news article.
So when you access the news article and it appears multiple times.
Okay, and you do not know whether he searched it or whether somebody sent him the link. Is that right?
That is true, Your Honor.
Okay.
But the fact that people are sending the link of
Just
that
relax, Max.
particular
Just Whitaker's
murder,
got
and we
this.
have calls on the wiretap in which they talk about, I think there's a call with Demekion Garlington in which people ask, why did they shoot up the house? And Demekion Garlington says, because their homeboy got killed in Mechanicsville last night. This is what,
And in that is that the day after Drinks is killed?
this is a few days later after Drinks is killed.
No, when Garlington says, because homeboy got killed last night.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, that one. But there's some other ones as well. So I think that this is relevant.
Wait,
not
yes,
substantially
what?
prejudicial, given the timeline of what has occurred between really March.
The yet to be established timeline. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, but that's because we're still putting.
I know you're still putting evidence up. I know.
And my 403 objection isn't just prejudice, it's also confusion.
Very
to the jury,
confusing.
because, and I think this is kind of
What do y'all think?
proving my point or my argument in some ways, because what I'm trying to avoid is we are on the 2-yard line of getting to the end of this case. And it seems to me that there is a potential that the state is just going to try to throw a bunch of stuff out there.
I think that's what the state's been doing this whole trial.
Well, I think I'm concerned about this.
God dang. So when I made the title of y'all saw the headline on the thumbnail. It says Whitaker versus the state. I had a feeling, I didn't know what was gonna happen, but I had a feeling we were gonna see this Judge Whitaker again. And God dang. Judge Whitaker is not holding back. I gotta run this back one more time. My goodness.
timeline of what has occurred between
Oh,
really March.
The
I was
yet
not
to be
expecting
established
that.
timeline. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor, but that's because we're
Oh,
still
my.
trying-
I know you're still putting evidence up. I know.
And my 403 objection isn't just prejudice, it's also confusion to the jury, because, and I think this is kind of proving my point or my argument in some ways, because what I'm trying to avoid is we are on the 2-yard line of getting to the end of this case. And it seems to me that there is a potential that the state is just going to try to throw a bunch of stuff out there.
I think that's what the state's been doing this whole trial.
Well, I think I'm concerned about this with Viverito. Like, for instance, when they just talked about the post by Shell Cal, there is no evidence that I know of that Shannon has ever seen that post. And with this, we have no idea as we sit here, and this is why I'm concerned about these Viverito files where it's just kind of a bunch of things thrown in there. We have no idea if it was a link sent, if it was a search. We have no idea of any of that.
Right,
And the jury will have no idea.
And you will have to point that out to them.
wow.
So,
Judge Whitaker just told the defense that, hey, y'all, this is your case to lose. Do your job, Max, Doug Weinstein. Just do your job, see this through, and y'all gonna be just fine. You got the 13th juror here. There is no way that the state has proven anything. Oh my
So what we
God.
have ultimately is that there is no evidence, none.
Woo! I cannot believe Judge Whitaker went off like that. Yeah.
it's relevant,
wait.
again, because of the low threshold for relevance. And it is,
Wow.
I mean, in terms of confusion, I don't think that they're going to be able to establish more than that this was accessed.
These were accessed, these were searched for by the defendant. There's no messages where he received them. I've gone through the phone extracting. He went on to Safari and we either went to Fox 5 and clicked on the Windsor, whatever the title is, Windsor Homicide in Atlanta, or
I'm not
he
buying it.
typed in Windsor Homicide in Atlanta, and that's what was accessed with the Fox 5.
All right, and this is coming in through,
It's phone number.
I know, which witness is going to be explaining, here's how we get these things and here's what we can tell from them.
It'll be a combination of Kevin Landpacker and Marissa Viverito.
Well, let's hope it's mainly Leon Packer, who
But
seems to actually have expertise in cell phone search dump things. I don't know about Viverito's ability to say any of this.
And this may
She's still
this may change
going.
after this conversation. My understanding going into today that the state's plan was just to admit the dump through Leon Packer and then have Viverito explain everything. And that's my concern.
Viverito, and does she have the expertise to be able to explain any of this?
So, Your Honor, Viverito has probably gone through 500 phones. She is in the gang unit, has actively phone dumps and Cellbrite. When I personally am taking in preps Detective Leanpacker, who's currently with the FBI.
Okay, and I know that he has expertise in it because he's testified about it in other of my own cases.
Correct, Your Honor. So what the state intends to do
Dang.
with Detective Leanpacker did not, he was asked, Detective Vito goes to Leanpacker as she's done hundreds of times, can you help me extract this phone? I have
Right.
a search warrant for it. Yes.
Okay.
Boom. Leanpacker will describe for the jury how XRY works, grade key works, all of that, what it means, what does the data come like when you get a
Okay.
message. He's not going to be publishing stuff because he never reviewed the contents, but he was going to discuss and talk about how the data is kept. I may use like I'm not intending on using what we're litigating now with Detective
Right.
Leanpacker because he didn't personally go through this stuff. I may show like the central XRY, home screen that shows messages in Safari, but he's obviously
All right, well, I don't think messages, I think most people grasp that messages can be extracted from phones, but something like this, that's showing
Wow.
web access. And we are all saying, well, okay, can you tell from this whether it was something that was sent or whether it was a search that he generated? Can
they
anybody
cannot.
answer that question?
Yes,
Nope.
Your Honor. This, what we are showing, defendant Stillwell access, search that. That is what we're showing.
I thought he said no.
Accessed it and searched it are not necessarily the same thing. I can access a link that you send me, or I can search for the same thing myself and find that same link. Is there any way to
She's right.
determine from this?
Yes, it's a search. You see where it says, there's one, for example, at 3:17, 2:33, 31 a.m. where it says web address is fox5atlanta.com/search. Where it says search there, that means he has searched for that web address.
What?
Stop the cap.
That's not what that means. Is that what that means, y'all? To me, that thinks he was on the Fox 5 website with their search option. But I don't know. I'll let them
Where
finish.
does it say
That's not what that means.
search? The one that said, sorry, it's about 1, 2, 5 or 6 down.
Or you could even go to the second one down.
Hold on, we're gonna look this up in real time.
Where it says fox5atlanta.com, you see where it says search? That means he searched for the specific.
Okay, I don't see that. I guess it's cut off. The /SE
Yes.
is going to ultimately say search.
Yes.
And is some witness going
We're
to
gonna
be
find
able
out
to
right now.
explain when you see /search, that means that it was a search?
Detective Leonpacker will be able to adequately explain
What
that
does he
to
do?
a level that few people can.
Okay, all right then. So we do
Mr.
know that
Atkins
some
is
of these were
pissed.
searches.
That's correct.
Well, and Your Honor, while we're saying.
Why he
some
jump
of
up like
these,
that?
I'm looking at,
I mean, I don't think we can see everything because it doesn't show the entirety of it. Are we going to be able to see the entirety of it?
Fox 5
Yes, Your Honor.
search.
If there's a Zoom link I can share.
So like another one down there,
Let's see. Jamel
there's like that one
drinks.
that has the red arrow, the one below that. You can't, both of those, you can't even see the end of, and I'm sorry, I don't know what the term is, but whatever that long string of slashes and dots and things are, you can't even see the end of
I don't
it
know how they're
to see
seeing
whether
this.
it says search. And then the next one down, you can't either. It's fox5atlanta.com/in. So do we
Focus.
do we know
The
what
focus
those
is
are?
on why are we not?
Your Honor, we're double checking, but it's my understanding that this section came from the portion of his phone that says searches. So when you look at XRY, it has different categories. When we open up the searches categories, this is what.
All right, well, if he's able to, if there is a witness who is able to explain that, and then somebody can ask, does this include things
Let me
that
go
are
Fox
sent
5.
to you? And he can say yes or no. I'm going to overrule the objection.
my other concern, Your Honor, is the presentation. I'm not an expert in these phones, but I'm just common sense wise. I'm looking at this. If you look at the time accessed, the earliest time that I see is 2:31:56 a.m. It appears page title Fox 5. Okay, so someone goes to Fox 5 at
So let's
2:31
go
a.m.
search. What are they saying the
there
search
at
was?
2:33
Chanel
a.m.
drinks.
Okay, that's not a search of anything, that's just being on Fox 5 website. And then, based on what Mr. Abadi's saying, which I'm not saying is incorrect or correct, but it says 2:33:31 a.m., and that's the search. And then it's just Fox 5 again. So while we have this big list that's creating the impression that there's a bunch of searches, it appears that all this really amounts to is one time going on Fox 5 and then doing one search.
I don't know whether it does or not. I guess Leon Packer will be able to tell us that.
Okay.
Okay, and here's what it looks like in case y'all are
Okay.
wondering. Can you see it?
So
You
that's
can't.
what, both of these pages is this one thing.
Here's what the
essentially
URL
this
would
one
look like
topic. Okay.
if you type something in
And
their
the-
search.
He'll be able to tell us, is this 8 or 12 different searches, or is this just, it refreshes and you're still on the page or something like that? Okay.
So these are all the numbers and things that she's talking about here.
All
So
right,
that's what it would look like. Whatever.
Is he going, I know he didn't look at it. You're saying he just did the dump, sorted it all out, and gave it to Viverito, right? But Viverito is not going to be able to tell us the answer to any of those questions, is she?
Your Honor, I do very much believe that she is very much equipped with her training experience to discuss, because she reviews these almost daily. I'm not saying
That doesn't mean she knows what they
she's-
mean.
But she's had training on it, and defense can voir dire across. We're not putting her up as a cell phone extraction expert. We have Detective Leonpacher, who was going to describe that. But
Right, but
and
how about just have him look at that,
yes, Your Honor.
okay? And
Yes,
then
Your Honor.
he can explain it to us.
Yes, Your
'Cause
Honor.
I don't know that, I mean, I haven't heard anything that would make Viverito able to answer those questions. So as long as I mean, it's not much for him to look at. It's less than 2 pages.
Yes,
Have
Your
him
Honor.
look at that, and then he can explain it.
Yes, Your Honor.
All
And
right. Okay, and maybe she can say, oh, here's why it was significant in my estimation, because she's the
Good luck with that.
investigator. But, all right, let's move on to the next topic.